And I'm David Mansfield, and welcome to another episode of our Herbal Q&A. Today's episode is on the human immune system, which, as you know, is a very topical subject at the moment. So let's have a little talk about that, Cath. Let's open up with just a general discussion about the human immune system.
Well, I think everyone has a basic idea of what immunity is, and I wanted to just break down really a little bit more in depth, just so that you can have a bit more of an understanding of how a herbalist would approach boosting the immune system. When we think about the immune system, we have this vision of white cells attacking pathogens, and there's this big argument going on within our body, and often that's what you see. So what often the symptoms that you're experiencing are definitely this thing like pain. You might get fever, you might get all these things as the immune system's kicking in. So what's actually happening? So initially you might find that the body is triggered to a degree of immune response through the mucosal lining. There's also the idea, and that mucosal lining is probably one of the first lines of defense along with your skin. So that's called the integumentary system, and that particular system, being the first line of defense, actually has information to give our whole body. Also, interestingly, our gut is part of that integumentary system, and of course the gut, the microbiome, will also inform the body on its immune response. So the body is being informed minute by minute, every breath we take, every bit of food we eat, about how to respond. And so when we're thinking about immune system, yes, it's our body's capacity to adapt to viruses, pathogens, but it's also our homeostasis. It's how our body's responding to, as a self-regulating organism. It's also got to do with the nervous system, so our emotions play a role. It is a very, very synergistic story, and you can't really break down the immune system like I think most people think it is. It's just this separate system that can somehow be, stimulated to work. It's a whole bunch of things working together.
So when people say, and they ring up our clinic, or they send us an email and they say, "Oh, look, I've just got a run-down immune system."
Yeah.
What does that mean, and what do we do about it?
So usually the first symptoms that you might experience are fatigue. So usually tiredness, and as a herbalist, I want to work with vitality. That's my main thing. So if we can get your cells communicating within the system to each other well, we've got the nervous system working well and instructing hormones well. That's called the neuroendocrine system, and we've got the microbiome, instructing well through the system. That's our energy. So our energy and our immune system are intrinsically linked. So if you're an Ayurvedic person, you're always and only really focused on that vitality. So from my perspective, I want to try and nourish directly those energy systems. And so that's where I want to start.
What's autoimmune diseases, and how does that affect immunity, and where's that come into play as far as immunity?
Yeah, so autoimmune problems, and I think this is where a lot of confusion can happen, but the simplistic answer is it's the immune system attacking itself. So the immune system says, okay, I'm here to attack pathogens and things that shouldn't be right in the body and shouldn't be there. So bacteria, viruses are your most common things. But what happens when the immune system is misdirected and sees cells, our cells, as needing to be attacked, as if it's a pathogen? And that's what an autoimmune condition is. So it means that the immune system is sending out inflammatory or what's called phagocytes and various other cells to actually attack their own tissue. So you might, for example, get an autoimmune condition attacking the thyroid gland. So this causes a condition known as Hashimoto's.
Yeah.
Okay, and this has got issues to do with the regulation of the body's endocrine system.
And so what are some of the other autoimmune diseases that are common?
Well, there's it's a blanket term.
Yeah.
Rheumatoid arthritis is one of those conditions.
Yeah.
So it can actually, display in terms of symptoms in a whole group of different individual conditions.
Yeah. So, and often when you talk about immune system problems, it relates to the flu or some sort of viral infection.
I think viruses, which I think everyone's probably, having a lot of information about viruses. Like anything, if the body is able to respond well, because there is a high degree of vitality and if there is a degree of readiness to act, then your immune system could be considered like a high level of immunity. But if you're under a massive amount of stress, so say you haven't been sleeping well, you might be having family troubles, or maybe your job's not that good, so you're not feeling happy. So you're just not generally feeling happy. Then what tends to happen is you don't eat well. You might drink too much. You might end up smoking. Maybe you're not a smoker, but maybe you start smoking because you're anxious about things. And pretty soon, what's happening is your body's becoming burdened with so many different chemicals that the communication through all these incredibly intricate systems, so the mucosal system, the central nervous system, all these systems are no longer at peak, we're operating at peak performance. So this is where we can start to say you've now got a lowered immune system. So it's not just saying, okay, I haven't been having enough vitamin C. Vitamin C, of course, is a very intrinsic vitamin, particularly to do with connective tissue health. It's really important vitamin, but having not enough vitamin C isn't going to fix your general immunity.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to be looking holistically at all these factors to boost our vitality. So vitality to me is the very first thing that needs to be engaged when we're talking about any kind of immune boosting function, whether or not we're doing it for simply the flu or a virus, or we're going as far as as working with cancer.